right, this is an article that came out in the Press Herald on August 6, 2017, and I will leave this article in the description box. Commentary: gun killings are actually highest in whitest areas. Trump's emphasis on gang crime is dishonest. Well, really, any crime where it's a person of color, they're being very dishonest, ladies and gentlemen. And this article is really going to bring that out. Trump would have us believe that white Americans are endangered by immigrant drug dealers and gangsters, and the liberal politician who abate them with so-called sanctuary cities. Last month in Ohio, Trump used lurid language to claim that gang members slice and dice beautiful girls like animals. Around the same time, his administration strengthened its crackdown on sanctuaries jurisdictions, announcing a new policy that requires local governments to either cooperate with federal immigration agents or lose funding. It's obvious to anyone who listening that Trump's talk about this terrifying other, he's really talking about non-white people, not just any old foreigner, and indeed Trump supporters in surveys conflate their fears of immigrants and dark-skinned people. Why don't you just say black people? We know what you mean. Their fears are not founded in reality. White people should be more afraid of other whites than people of color. Finally, somebody telling the damn truth. And y'all can miss me with this black on white crime and black on black crime because you are over exaggerating big time, and the FBI numbers show that you're lying. I examined the Federal Center for Disease Control and Prevention statistics on murder, gun killings, and illegal drug overdoses among white Americans. My analysis shows that the white Americans who are most at risk of dying from these causes are those who live in predominantly white counties. The CDC statistics cover 2011 through 2015, the most recent 5 years for which data are available, and encompass 2,962 counties and 99% of the U.S. population. According to the data, rates of homicide, gun killings, and illicit drug fatalities are highest in counties where 9 and 10 residents are white and where Trump won the 2016 election. Such counties are not limited to one geographical region. They include Boone County, West Virginia, Washington County, Utah, Baxter County, Arkansas, and Brown County, Ohio. Correspondingly, the white Americans who are safest from such deaths are those who live in racially diverse areas such as Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago, where 2/3 of residents are non-white, where millions of immigrants live, and where voters favored Hillary Clinton in 2016. Oh, well, shit. Non-whites also are safer in these areas overall, though rates vary by location. White Americans are nearly 8 times more likely to die from illicit drug overdoses than murder. So no more, don't bring me no more black on white crime, because like I said, y'all are over exaggerating that big time. The CDC statistics show a proportion that undoubtedly reflects the heroin and illegal opiate plague. But according to FBI data for 2015, when whites are murdered anywhere in the country, the murderer is 5 times more likely to be white than non-white. Let me read that one more time. But according to FBI data for 2015, when whites are murdered anywhere in the country, the murderer is 5 times more likely to be white than non-white. Overall, white Americans who live in predominantly white and Trump voting counties are 50% more likely to die from murder, gun violence, and drug overdoses than whites who live in the most diverse and democratic voting counties. The more white and Republican a county is, the greater the risk for white Americans. They ain't even safe around their own people. Whites are so much safer where there are fewer whites and Republicans. In fact, that it raises the question of what exactly underlies this strong correlation between white safety and voting patterns. It may appear logical that white Americans are more at risk where they are experiencing the most economic pain and proposed neglect by Democratic politicians. Overall, much has been made of a role that the economic anxiety played in white support for Trump, especially in predominantly white areas. But the Census Bureau data do not back up such a correlation. White Americans enjoy the largest real income and employment gains of any race during President Obama's administration, particularly in the Rust Belt states where federal economic stimulus was strongest. Perhaps Trump supporters are attached to his mambre rhetoric and promises of draconian crackdowns precisely because they are most at risk of dying the kind of violent deaths he describes. But in this case, they are seriously mistaken about what dangers them, namely themselves and other white Americans. California serves as an illustrative example of how safety increases with greater diversity. 5 out of 6 white Americans in California now live in counties where whites are a minority. Nationwide, this is true of only 1 in 6 white Americans. White residents of California are generally safer from murder, gun killings, and illicit drug overdoses than whites elsewhere. Overall, the state's crime rate is near a historic low, and it's been dropping steadily in the Black community too. But they won't report that on the news, but the information is still found online. California experienced political uproar over demographic change in the 1980s and the 1990s, and the state generated the same anti-immigrant, tough on crime, racist panic that Trump and some Republican politicians are now fomenting. California, been there, done that. Advice to the rest of the country: skip the stage. Safety comes with diversity. So it's just really clearing up what we have been saying all along. They are over exaggerating all of this rhetoric about black crime and black on white crime and all that stuff. Don't pay attention to that stuff anymore. If you were listening to that as a black person, don't listen to it, because this article right here just brought the reality and the truth to the surface. And it does correlate with exactly what the FBI table says. All you got to do is go out there and look. And don't come arguing with me. Go to the FBI and look. It is really true. White people kill other white people at a much higher rate than anyone else. It is the truth. Please leave your comment and subscribe. And if you can donate to my channel, please do, people. Peace.